All right, all right. Hey. How's everybody doing? Well, all right. Woo. Let's get it. All right. They say you can always tell a Morehouse man, but you can't tell him much. But you can trust a Morehouse man to tell you the truth. Georgia, here's what we have to say to those who would doubt our voice, doubt our power, doubt our vote. This part is over. Like my brother Spike's gonna tell you, we've been turning out, we've been turning up, but we can't stop now. Georgia, we got 12 days to choose which way our country is gonna go from here, which way our future is gonna go from here. That's why I'm so fired up to be here with y'all. And that's why I'm so proud to support our next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. And you don't have to wait till election day to show your support. You can go vote early right now in any polling place in your county. Showing up at the polls is the only way we can deliver Kamala Harris' future. She's running on a vision to lead our country forward. A vision built on hope, built on faith, and built on opportunity. Built on the belief that we can build a brighter future by lifting each other up and not tearing each other down. She's running on a proven track record of fighting for the people, standing up to bullies, protecting the most vulnerable, and taking on the toughest fights. And we've heard her favorite curse word is a favorite of mine too. But I ain't gonna say that word. But I don't know about you, but that's the kind of president I can stand behind. That's the kind of president I can see leading our country forward. Now, as for the unmentionable, we've seen that horror show before. And there is no way, no how we gonna make America great again. We are not going back. That's right. That's right. We're not going back. We're not going back. Oh, yeah. So, Georgia, we can't let up. We got 12 days to run through the tape. We got to knock on doors. We are not going back. You damn right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Where's Pebble at? What's up, George? How you doing? It always feels good to come home. I'm a Grady baby. Born right here, March 20, 1957 in Atlanta. I'm a third generation Spelman Morehouse legacy. And it's homecoming. Power is knowing your past. And right now, we're 12 days out for the most pivotal election of our times. There's nowhere else even Madison Square Garden. I'd rather be here tonight or Yankee Stadium win the World Series. Because let me tell you, Georgia is where our future is being written. No joke. Georgia, you've been showing up and showing out. Smash into smithereens. Every voter records left and right. Turn it out in full force. Now, you gotta listen to science. I'm dropping science right here. No matter what kind of shenanigans, skullduggery, and subterfuge, the okey doke, the flim flam, we're not going for that. Are we going for that? Hell no! One more time. One more. Hell to the die. It's coming, it's coming. But you know what, Georgia? We ain't done yet. We've got 12 days. That's a dozen. And we don't have a second to lose. Now, if we want to move forward, not backward, now if we want to fight for the one candidate in this election who's fighting for us. Now if we stand with the one candidate who's standing up for us. Now if we raise our voice for the one who's speaking up for us. Our sister Kamala Harris, the VP. Now what are we going to do? Almost done. And look, I don't even have to ask, do you know, do you know, do you know, do you know? You look beautiful from here. Sisters and brothers, all races, gender, we have to fight. We fight, we win, we fight, we fight, we fight, we fight. Sure enough.
Welcome to DeKalb County, Georgia. Before I say one more word, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I am a black man and I am all in for Kamala Harris. I want all the men to join with me and say, vote, 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 vote. All right, give yourselves a hand. My name is Michael Thurmond, and I was born and raised right here in the state of Georgia. I am proud to call the Peach State my home. And today, I am honored, I am pleased to be serving as the CEO of DeKalb County, Georgia. DeKalb is one of the bluest, most democratic counties in the United States of America. Like DeKalb County. Okay, can y'all hear me all the way in the back? DeKalb County. DeKalb County President Barack Obama is in the building. DeKalb County Vice President Kamala Harris is in the building. Now, you all saw she did a town hall last night. She did a great job. You know, it was supposed to be a debate. But Big Bad Donald lost the last one so bad he chickened out. Donald Trump can't defend his record. Can Donald Trump defend overturning Roe v. Wade? Can Donald Trump defend calling killed, wounded, and captured American service members suckers and losers? Can Donald Trump defend raising a violent mob that assaulted the United States Capitol? My goodness. My goodness. What has happened to the GOP? See, there's a reason that the team behind Kamala isn't just Democrats, it's independents, it's Republicans, it's Americans. Shoot, it seems like it's just about Donald Trump's entire former White House staff. But think about this. Think about this, Clarkston. John Kelly, a former Marine Corps general, Donald Trump's top aide in the White House. He says Trump, quote, has nothing but contempt for our democratic institutions, our Constitution, and the rule of law. That's the man who worked most closely for Donald Trump when Donald Trump was in the White House. General Kelly said that Trump longed for generals like Adolf Hitler had. Come on, Georgia. This man is no good, bad news, and it's up to us to stop him. DeKalb County, are you ready to elect Kamala Harris for next president of the United States?
Way in the Utah desert, I pick up my money, head back into town, driving across the Waynesboro County line. I got the radio on, and I'm just killing time, working all day in my dad's garage, driving all night, chasing some mirage. Well, pretty soon, darling, I'm gonna take charge. Well, the dogs on Main Street howl, 'cause they understand. If I could take one moment into my hands, mister, I ain't a boy, no, I'm a man. And I believe in the promised land. Done my best now to live the right way. I get up every morning and go to work each day. But your eyes go blind and your blood runs cold Sometimes I feel so weak, I just want to explode and tear this whole town apart. Take a knife and cut this pain from my heart. Find somebody itching for something to start. Well, the dogs on Main Street howl, 'cause they understand if I could take this moment into my hands. Mister, I ain't a boy, no, I'm a man, and I believe in the promised land. Now there's a dark cloud rising from the desert floor. I packed my bags and I'm headed straight into the storm. Gonna be a twister to blow everything down that ain't got the faith to stand its ground. Blow away the dreams that tear you apart. Blow away the dreams that break your heart. Blow away the lies that leave you nothing but lost and broken hearted. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Bruce Springsteen, and I am here today to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for President and Vice President of the United States, and to oppose Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Now, here's why. I want a president who reveres the Constitution, who does not threaten but wants to protect and guide our great democracy, who believes in the rule of law and the peaceful transfer of power, who will fight for a woman's right to choose, and who wants to create a middle-class economy that will serve all our citizens. There is only one candidate in this election who holds those principles dear: Kamala Harris. She's running to be the 47th president of the United States. Donald Trump is running to be an American tyrant. He does not understand this country, its history, or what it means to be deeply American. And that's why November 5th, I'm casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I urge all of you who believe in the American way to join me. Thank you. This is Land of Hope and Dreams. Grab your ticket and your suitcase. Thunder's rolling down this track. Oh, you don't know where you're going now, but you know you won't be back. Well, darling, if you're weary, lay your head upon my chest. Yeah, we'll take what we can carry. Well, and we'll leave the rest. Well, big wheels roll through fields where sunlight streams. Oh, meet me in a land of hope and dreams. Yeah, well, I will provide for you, and I'll stand by your side, 'cause you'll need a good companion now, off of this part of the ride. your sorrows. Let this day be the last. Oh, tomorrow there'll be sunshine, sunshine.
Back in 2021, Georgia literally saved the country. And in my best Georgia accent and way, let me say that we're fixing to do it again. Are you ready to win this election? Hear me tonight. I know that we are in the midst of a political election. But hear the pastor tonight when I say to you that this is more than an election, it is a moral moment in America. It's really hard to overstate how much is at stake. Here's the thing, we already know who Donald Trump is. That's not what this election is about. It's about who are we. I still believe that the American people at the end of the day are going to embrace that age-old American covenant, e pluribus unum, out of many one, because we know that we stand together, that we are connected, that we need each other, that we need our neighbors, that there are not enemies within. We may have differences of opinion. Earlier today, I was standing with Republicans in Pennsylvania, and then later I was standing with brothers, black men in the barbershop. Earlier before that, I was standing with students. And the truth is, we need everybody. We need all hands on deck. Are you ready to show up? So let me defy Baptist gravity and be brief. There's a lot of talk these days about what black men are going to do. Let me speak to that for just a moment. Let me say that I do not believe that there's going to be this wave. I do not believe that significant numbers of black men are going to vote for the likes of Donald Trump. I don't believe that. Now, we are not a monolith. There will be some, but there won't be this wave. After all, we know who Donald Trump is. We're not confused. We know that this is the man who was held accountable by the Justice Department because he wouldn't even rent apartments to black people. We know who Donald Trump is. We know that this is the man who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times and said that 5 young men of color who had been accused of a heinous crime should receive the death penalty. And when it became clear that they were not guilty, when the Central Park 5 became the exonerated 5, he said he still stood by what he said. We know who Donald Trump is. This is the man who entered into the political arena on a racist birther lie that the first African-American president was not born here. We know what he was up to. He was trying to say, you're not one of us. But I believe that the American people will reject this hatred, will reject this bigotry. We understand that we are one people. Are you ready to stand together and win this election? Are you ready to stand on behalf of truth and righteousness and justice?
Hello, Georgia. Hello, hello, hello. I got to tell you, I've been a resident here for a little more than 30 years, so I know a few things about Georgia. What I want to share with you today is that this is where I found the American dream for myself. And lately I found myself having my feet in two different worlds. One where I'm talking to very wealthy people at their table, and then I come to work and I'm talking to people who work for me about everyday problems and everyday issues. So it puts me in a very, very peculiar spot to be able to talk to you. And I'm grateful for that, having my feet in both those worlds, because I still remember what it was like to stand at the Winn-Dixie on Beaufort Highway and have $20 and try to figure out, how do I make this meal work for the week? I know what it's like to have my landlord knocking at the door and I'm in the bed hiding because I don't want him to knock on the door because I know he has an eviction notice. I know what it's like to be homeless here in Georgia. I know what it's like to have to scrape up enough money to get to stay at a pay-by-the-week hotel off of Beaufort Highway. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to sleep in my car wrapped in my grandmother's quilt because I had no place to go. I know what it's like to come from work and walk outside and realize that my car has been repossessed. So make no mistake, I know and I remember how hard it is, and I remember the struggle, and I also know, hear me, how expensive it is to be poor. But I also believed in an American dream. And when I was coming here to Georgia, I was looking for inspiration, and there was this show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And there was a man on there that I really admired, I looked up to. He had a helicopter and his name was on hotels all over the place. He was, hold on just a second, let me get through this so you hear what I'm saying. Young black men admired him because his name was in rap lyrics. So when I first started making a little money, the first thing I did was checked into the Trump Hotel because I wanted to feel that specialness. But then I started to do my research. Research is important. Truth is important. Facts are important. I found out about a discrimination lawsuit against he and his father because they didn't want people like me in their building. I found out about him taking a full-page ad out on young black men in the New York Times. I found out about the birther lie. We all heard it, saying that Barack Obama was not born in this country. There are undertones there and there are echoes there that we all had to pay attention to. So I watched him when he won the presidency. I watched him say that there were good people on both sides when neo-Nazis were screaming, Jews will not replace us. I watched him from the Central Park 5 to Project 2025. And what I realized is that in this Donald Trump America, there is no dream that looks like me. We want a president who believes that this American dream is for everyone. And that president is Kamala Harris. We want a president that understands, like I did in Georgia when I came here, I didn't have anything, but I had a dream. So I worked, and against all odds, I worked my way to where I am now. It was here in Georgia. See, in Georgia, you know what we do? We don't sit around and complaining, we go to work. It was here where I became a studio owner. My first studio was on Clark Street. Now that is Clark Street Market. And then I bought another studio, which was on Greenbrier, right near Greenbrier Mall on Continental Colony Parkway. And it was there that Barack Obama came in 2012 to do a fundraiser. And he was getting ready to leave. And he said, come ride with me. We're going to my house for a fundraiser. And I'm like, wait, you want me to ride with you in the Beast? So I get in the car and traffic is stopped and we're riding and he's talking to me. And for those of you who are old enough to remember Charlie Brown, all I heard was wah, 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 wah. I finally said, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but I haven't heard a word you've said because I'm in awe of this country. What a great country that you could become president of the United States. And he turned to me quick as a flash and he said, yes, but what a great country that you could become Tyler Perry. From that moment, I went and I bought a bigger studio. I bought Fort McPherson Army Base. Right now, where we hire thousands of people are coming through their doors. And I don't care what was stacked up against me. I don't care. I didn't pay attention to that. What I paid attention to was how do I help somebody? I broke through that door, laid it down on its side, and let it become a ramp so that somebody else can get higher too. You want to hear something about an American dream? Fort McPherson was once a Confederate Army base where there were Confederate soldiers trying to plot and plan on how to keep 3.9 million Negroes enslaved. Now that land is owned by me. Let's talk about an American dream. The seniors working so hard and working hard and working, seniors working hard. And what I realized when I bought it, that seniors around, their taxes were going through the roof. So what I did was, I was like, no, you're not gonna come here and take these seniors' houses. I paid everybody's taxes up for years so that they can keep their houses. When an 85-year-old woman in Coweta County lost her house to a fire and wanted a place for all her grandkids, I rebuilt that house for her. Most recently, I saw in the AJC a story where there was a woman who hired this contractor and he gutted her house and left her there with nothing. She was living in a house with no plumbing and no walls for years. I rebuilt that house for her. Why am I telling you this? I'm not telling you this to be bragging. What I'm telling you about it is, what I want you to understand is I have compassion for our seniors. So when a candidate says that we have lowered the cost of insulin to $35 for seniors, that candidate has my vote. I put many kids through college, and recently there was a woman who was murdered by her husband, and she had 3 kids that were college age. I put all those kids through college. So when I hear a candidate say, we are going to do what we can to reduce student loan debt, that is a candidate that I can stand with. I stand with a candidate who has an American dream for everyone. She stands with us. And she has an American dream for our children. And let me tell you something about the children. I don't know if you remember, but her DNC speech was great, right? But there's a moment that you may have missed. When the cameras were rolling and she was walking around and the balloons are falling and confetti's falling, I'm watching her smile and wave. Her family comes out, but there are 2 little girls on the stage. And I see her constantly making sure they're okay, not getting too close to the edge. That's what you want. See, the little things will tell you about the heart of a person. In that speech, she talked about how we have more in common than what separates us. So, Georgia, I want to put that to the test. I didn't have a father who gave me millions of dollars to start a business. Did you? Didn't think so. My mother didn't have some great legacy, but she taught me how to pray my way through a situation. It sounds like we have that in common. I'm the kind of American that believes in a secure border, but at the same time believes that if anyone is coming seeking legal asylum, our arms should be open to them. I'm the kind of American that believes that if you are running for office, you shouldn't sink and tank a bipartisan bill to help the border so that you could use it for your own glory. If you are like me, I worked my ass off to buy my first house and build my business and take care of my family. That is the American dream. I believe if you work that hard and you put into Social Security, When you get to a certain age, that you put in should be there waiting for you because it's yours. I believe that we all should have affordable health care and it not be replaced with the concept of a plan. What the hell? I'm the kind of American that believes that no matter what your party, we ought to be able to sit down and have civil conversation so that we can work toward a solution the same as I do with our governor, Brian Kemp. I'm the kind of man that believes, I'm the kind of man that believes that the government nor a man should be telling a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. I'm the kind of American who believes that poll workers should do their civic duty without being harassed and threatened like Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss in Fulton County. And I am not the kind of American that glories in, enjoys, laughs at, or celebrates an 80-year-old man being hit with a hammer because his wife is in politics and you don't agree with her. And two things can be true at once. I am not the kind of man that glory in, celebrates, enjoy, or laughs at a 78-year-old former president almost meeting his death at an assassin's bullet in Butler's, Pennsylvania. It's not right. It's about decency, America, and I think you agree with me. But I am the kind of American that believes if you lose an election, that you honor the constitutional, peaceful transfer of power. And judging by your reaction, I believe Kamala is right. We have more in common than what separates us. As I'm closing here, I just want to talk about that quote that I used to wrap up in my grandmother's car, that quote that my grandmother gave me. That quilt was a tapestry of beautiful pieces, but I completely ignored it. I didn't think it was worth anything because she had made it from all of these stitches and gave it to me as a gift. And I was walking past this antique store years later and I saw one in the window and I go, wow, that's a beautiful quilt. It reminds me of my grandmother. So I walk in, I talked to the lady. She started explaining to me that each patch in that quilt was worth this and meant this because of the woman who made it. So when I think about America, I think about my grandmother's quilt. We are all shapes, sizes, and colors, but we are one. And it was so important for me to stand with a candidate who understands that we as America, we are a quilt. And I could never stand with a candidate who wants America to be a sheet.
Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? It is good to be back in Georgia. Good to be back in Atlanta. And this is quite a lineup you've had here. You got my buddy Bruce Springsteen. You got Tyler Perry. You got a couple of guys from those Capital One commercials. If that doesn't get you fired up to vote, I don't know what will. Now, you've heard this already. I am going to repeat it. We are going to keep repeating it. Here in Georgia, early voting has already started. So if you have not already, go vote. Return your absentee ballot. If you're going to vote, remember to bring your photo ID. If you need to figure out where to go, Go to iwillvote.com/GA. And then you get your friends and you get your family to make a plan to vote. Because together we have a chance to choose a new generation of leadership in this country and start building a better and stronger and fairer and more hopeful America. Now, I love you too. Now we know this election is going to be tight because a lot of Americans are still struggling. As a country, we've been through a lot. As a country, we've been through a lot over the last few years. We had a historic pandemic that wreaked havoc on communities and businesses. And then disruptions from the pandemic caused price hikes that put a strain on family budgets. And people feel like no matter how hard they work, sometimes it feels like they're just treading water. So I get why people are looking to shake things up. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you, because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself. I've said it before. Donald Trump is a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down that golden escalator 9 years ago. And when he's not complaining, when he's not sending out crazy tweets, he's trying to sell you stuff. He's trying to sell you gold sneakers, trying to sell you a $100,000 watch, trying to sell you a Trump Bible, wants to sell you the Word of God, Donald Trump edition. Got his name right there next to Matthew and Luke. Now, you cannot make this stuff up. If this was on a Saturday Night Live skit, you'd say, well, no, that's crazy. But he's doing it because all he cares about is his ego, his money, his status. That's his mindset. Those are his intentions. And then there's the question of his competence. I mean, have you seen Donald Trump lately? He out there giving 2-hour speeches, just word salad. Said the other day, January 6th was a day of love. He said that. Like it was Woodstock or Coachella. If your grandpa was acting like this, you'd call up your brother, call up your cousin, you say, hey, have you noticed Grandpa? He acting kind of funny right now. But here's the interesting thing, is he acts so crazy and it's become so common that people no longer take it seriously. I'm here to explain to you, just because he acts goofy does not mean his presidency wouldn't be dangerous. And you do not have to take my word for it. Lately, some of the people who know Donald Trump best have been saying in no uncertain terms that he should not be president again. The other day, General John Kelly, Donald Trump's former chief of staff, said that Trump told him he wanted his generals to be like Hitler's generals. Now, don't boo, vote. Now, I want to explain that in politics, a good rule of thumb is don't say you want to do anything like Hitler. You know, that's just good political advice. But it is useful because it gives us a window into how Donald Trump thinks. And John Kelly isn't the only one saying this. 2 of his defense secretaries, people who worked for him, said the same thing. his chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, that is the top of the top brass in our military, said he is dangerous. Now, I happen to know John Kelly and Mark Miller. They served under me when I was commander-in-chief. These are serious people. This is a decorated soldier and Marine who served in battle. They are not, quote unquote, woke liberals. They are people who have never in the past even talked about politics because they believe that the military should be above politics. But the reason they're speaking up is because they have seen that in Donald Trump's mind, the military does not exist to serve the Constitution or the American people. He doesn't see being commander-in-chief as a solemn, sacred responsibility, just like everything else. He thinks the military exists to do his bidding, to serve his interests. He said if he's elected, he'll use that military to go after, quote, the enemy within, which he defines as anybody who criticizes him or refuses to bend the knee. He can't handle that. And unlike last time, unlike the first time, he won't have people like John Kelly around to stop him. He'll be surrounded by people who are just as loony as he is and who will let him do what he wants.
Can we please hear from my friend, our 44th president, Barack Obama? Oh, it's good to be back in Atlanta. All right. So, I love you too. So you all may know, it was 17 years ago. It was over 17 years ago when I took a trip to Springfield, Illinois. It was a cold February day. And I went there to support this brilliant young senator who was running for president of the United States. And millions of Americans were energized and inspired, not only by Barack Obama's message, but by how he leads, seeking to unite rather than separate us. And that is why in 2007, I went New Year's Eve to Iowa to knock on doors in the snow. And all these years later, Barack Obama, I say to you, your friendship and your faith in me and in our campaign means the world. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. And we have some extraordinary leaders with us tonight. And I thank everybody who's here for taking time out of your busy lives to spend this evening together. I want to thank Georgia's congressional delegation, all the local and community leaders who are here with us. Let's please give it up for Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, Tyler Perry, and the great American poet, Bruce Springsteen. So Atlanta, before I was Vice President of the United States, before I was a United States Senator, and before that, a two-term Attorney General for the state of California, and before that, a district attorney and a courtroom prosecutor. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds: predators, fraudsters, and repeat offenders. I took them on and I won. Well, Georgia, in 12 days, it's Donald Trump's turn. It's his turn. Just 12 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. And I don't need to tell you, voting has already started. And everybody here knows it's going to be a tight race until the very end. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win. We will win. Or as a certain former president would say, yes, we can. Yes, we will, and yes, we can. And here's why we're going to win. We are going to win because we together are fighting for the future. We are fighting for the future. We here understand we have an opportunity before us to turn the page on the fear and divisiveness that have characterized our politics for a decade because of Donald Trump. We have the opportunity to turn the page and chart a new way and a joyful way forward. A way that taps into the ambitions, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And I will tell you, as I travel our country, there is an overwhelming call for a fresh start, for a new generation of leadership that is optimistic and excited about what we can do together. There is a yearning for a president of the United States. So, Georgia, I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.